Cardelis Paez, Liliana Patino, and Josh Polanski. Tonight's forum will be moderated by LCTV board member Joe Scanlon.
Good evening. My name is Joe Scanlon. I'm a member of the LCTV board. I'm a former city councilor in Lynn, and I'm the moderator for tonight's Ward 5 forum. We have 4 candidates for Ward 5. We have Liliana Patino, Josh Polanski, Cardi Paez, and Augustina Matos was unable to be with us tonight due to a family situation. So with that, we have some, they're all new candidates. These are all first timers, right? So this is their first forum, so let's get with it and ask the same question to all three, I'm sorry, and we'll start with Liliana. What would you do to build community and communicate effectively with the constituents of Ward 5?
Well, let me start saying good evening and thank you for...
Oh, I'm supposed to, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, you're supposed to introduce yourself, I'm sorry.
Okay, let me do that.
We'll do the questions later. I forgot. Let's blame the moderator.
That's fine. So let me introduce myself. So again, good evening and thank you for inviting us. I think that this is a great opportunity that as candidates we have to connect with you. So again, my name is Liliana Patino. I am a mother, a wife, an immigrant. I am a trained mental health clinician who's been working in the community for many, many years. For me, connections is something that I value, and through my job, I have been able to connect with multiple people in many capacities. Currently, I serve as a Senior Director of Community Impact and Development for LA Community Services. I serve as Advisory Council for the Governor and Latino Empowerment, and I serve in multiple boards for different agencies. I think that for me it is important to be the voice of the community. I think that Lynn has tremendous potential for growth, and I would love to have the opportunity to serve you as a voice at City Hall. Again, my experience as a clinician has allowed me to work with families from all different backgrounds and use my living experience as a way to engage with families. As a mother, I had the issues of childcare. As a tenant, I have the issues of being evicted or being asked to for the rent to increase. I had worked really hard to be where I am, and I am very proud to have the success that I currently have as a professional. So I take very important my experience, my personal experience, my working experience, and my capacity to advocate, my capacity to negotiate, and my capacity to listen to the families and to the members of Ward 5 that I'm planning to serve. Thank you.
Okay. Josh?
Thank you, Joe. I also want to thank LCTV for their dedication to the upcoming election. I think part of what is an absolute must in local politics is accessibility. LCTV particularly has given the residents of Lynn a great deal of accessibility to all of us as candidates, and your work is truly appreciated. If the residents you're working on behalf of can't get in touch with you and you can't be accessible to them, especially as a ward councilor, you'll be completely ineffective. Something else I feel is paramount to being a city official is accountability to every resident. You need to be held accountable for the job you're doing to remain effective in office. That accountability should come from not only other members of the city council and the mayor's office, but more importantly, that accountability should come from the residents of the ward and the residents of the city. I want everybody to know that they can call on me for not only the things that they agree with, but I would urge people to get in touch with me on the decisions I make that they disagree with, so we could have open, honest communication about how to make things better for everybody as a whole. Oftentimes, people ask me why I want to be the next Ward 5 councilor. And for me, I take personal pride in the ability to help people. I feel that if I have the ability, I've got a responsibility to help people. I was very fortunate. I grew up here in Lynn with 2 parents who were heavily involved in the community. My parents taught me a sense of pride and community at a very young age, and my wife and I are now doing the same thing for our children. I've been a community leader here in Lynn for many years through a variety of volunteer opportunities, and now I look forward to expanding my role in being able to help people throughout the entirety of Ward 5 and the City of Lynn if I'm given the pleasure of serving as the next Ward 5 councilor.
Cardi?
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Cardelis Baez, or Cardi, Cardelis, however you want to say it. And I am a proud Lynn resident. I was born and raised here. And every time I think back at my childhood, I'm very grateful for all of the organizations that helped raise me, the people along the way that became friends and family. Growing up in an immigrant family, it was always difficult finding resources or, being a translator at 5 years old and not necessarily knowing what you're actually saying. So it's really impressive to see how many more resources there are in the community to help bridge these accessibility gaps. I was very fortunate to go to school in California after my education here in Lynn, focusing a lot on social and environmental justice, eventually working with corporations and financial institutions to implement different strategies and metrics to improve the ways in which their companies and organizations functioned and recorded information on a more macro level. Eventually, I came back to Lynn and was very fortunate to start working back in the community and implement some of these more strategic skills that I had acquired along the way, and predominantly just honing back into the way that I was raised, the different communities that impacted me, knowing that this opportunity is available. I think it's a wonderful opportunity to take some of that experience that I've been able to gather internationally, but also here, be it different art programs or learning how to communicate with people from a variety of different backgrounds. Lynn is extraordinarily diverse. It has so many wonderful people, and it's an opportunity to rebuild as a lot of projects are developing and remake some of these structures that limit opportunities for others.
Thank you. That's very good. First time out of the box for all of you. So now the old guy who messed up and asked the question before the introduction will ask the question. And we'll begin with Josh.
Sure thing.
What would you do to build community and communicate effectively with the constituents of Ward 5?
So some of the things that I have done already as president of Pine Hill Civic Association for a number of years in building community is create different programs for families, programs for youth, programs for adults, different events. I feel like creating programs, creating events, creating fun, safe places for people to come together as a community helps build pride in community. And then as far as specifically as a ward councilor, I feel like having regular meetings throughout the various districts of the ward, various precincts of the ward, are very important to keep people engaged on a regular basis. I also feel like as far as the communicating effectively, there is no one right way. There's multiple ways, and I feel like the onus is not on the people of the ward to ask you how you should communicate to them. I feel like it's on you to find the various ways. There are a lot of people that don't have technology at their fingertips. Some people don't have Facebook. Some people don't have Instagram. Some people don't have email. And in those instances, maybe they need flyers, maybe they need mailings, maybe they need you to come to their door, knock on their door, go to the businesses that they frequent locally with your message and ways that they can reach you. So there isn't just one way to communicate. I think it's on you to find the multitude of ways, and in most cases, especially in a city as diverse as Lynn, you need to have the ability to communicate across a multitude of platforms.
Okay, same question. Cardi, do you need me to read it?
No, Paul knows
Okay.
it. Okay. Thank you. Josh, I completely agree that we should have a variety of ways to communicate to people. From just looking at the different communities within Ward 5, it's obvious that the issues vary widely between different precincts. So one of my initial thoughts is just to have a rotating meeting that focuses on each precinct. Anyone within the ward is welcome to join, and we can hold space for ward-wide conversations. But each of these locations will be more accessible to each of those areas. And collectively then having meetings once a quarter in which everyone is invited and having some sort of community building implemented, as I think there's a large opportunity to create third spaces within the community, having people gather and find community within each other. So this is a wonderful opportunity to start building the infrastructure to do that at a wider capacity. I also believe that we should also implement new technologies. There's a whole bunch of AI where we can use note keeping. So for people that weren't able to attend the meeting, they can still be informed about the concepts that were discussed and follow up on different discussions, and also keep each other accountable about the things that were discussed in these meetings. I also think that we should have a running list of priorities, and my time is almost up. So I will also add that it's also important to have communications posted in spaces where people frequent, so that they know when the meetings are, that they're rotating, and have consistency to be able to follow along.
Okay, Liana?
Well, I want to say that I agree with both of you, and I am so excited that the three of us are actually on point on that. Communication is an issue, and it has been an issue for many years. I think that every single time that I knock at any door, that was the issue. We don't know what's happening at City Hall. We hear about activities or about changes that are happening through neighbors, like pretty much after the decisions are made. So I think that, again, monthly newsletters, we have to make sure that the community knows. I think that it's important to acknowledge the diversity of the community. So I'm planning, when I become a city council, definitely to connect with people in Spanish. Yo hablo español. I understand the community. I understand that not everybody has the same level of education, and not everybody comes from the same country. I do understand that needs are different. We cannot put the entire Ward 5 together as a collective needs, because everybody has different needs. The needs of the elderly are different than the needs of young parents with young children. So I think that it's important to acknowledge that collectively we all have different needs, but we all want to know what's happening. Business owners, you want to know what's happening. Nonprofits, you want to know what's happening. Parents with kids in the school, you want to know what's happening. Those residents that are being affected by construction going on your street, you want to know what's happening. So this is very important, and I think that, as mentioned, we have to be mindful, and we have to be very strategic about how do we get to everyone in Ward 5.
Okay. The next question, and we'll go to Kadi, is what ward councils are traditionally known for. What are your thoughts on infrastructure improvements happening now in the city, and knowing that some are on state roads?
Okay.
Do you understand the question? I think they may be referring to what's going on now, and probably we're looking for some thoughts on maybe infrastructure that you see in the ward too.
I'll say I'm generally excited for the infrastructure projects that are coming into the city. Granted, it is a lot because we haven't had a lot in a while, but I think in the long term, it's going to benefit all of us in terms of just the ways that we get to work, the different interconnectivity between businesses and social life and daily activity. What the problem becomes now is just that in-between period of the questions that different folks have brought up to me, which is like, okay, this is happening. Is it going to impact, like, when is it going to stop? Will I have to replan different routes to take my children to work? Will I have, like, what's going to happen with the snow? When that comes along. And people have very valid questions about the ways that these things are rolling out. So I would say it's very important to have streamlined communication, and not just coming from the ward councilors, but also within City Hall. Oftentimes that's not necessarily published in a way that most folks have access to it unless you are aware or are within that process. Within the next coming years, there are going to be a number of different construction projects throughout the Lynnway, the Western Ave, and other places. I would say the planning department is actively looking for suggestions. Right now, there is a survey going out for the Lynnway multimodal round, so please do fill that out. I will also say that we just need better systems, right? Like in the latest budgeting meeting, one of the councilors asked, how do we know which roads are going to get repaved? And the response was, well, there's a system and people make requests. Who are the people that make these requests? Where does that get processed? There's a lot of red tape that we need to start uncovering and working and picking up.
Liliana?
Again, I agree. I think that right now, no one is enjoying downtown. I think that for many of us, getting from point A to point B, it is very stressful. For parents thinking about going back to school, yes, you need to plan 20 minutes, 30 minutes in advance. But we will see the rainbow, right, at the end of the storm. So I think that these changes needed to happen, right? I'm excited about having access to ride the bike, right? That is a great way for many people actually to get to work. So these changes that are happening right now, they seem chaotic. They seem like we're not moving forward, but we are. I agree, communication is an issue. Sometimes we don't even know what's happening. Sometimes we get to downtown and streets are closed or they are blocked, or we didn't know that like something major is happening. I'm excited to see the future, how it comes. I'm excited to see the bridge project being completed. I'm excited to see the changes in downtown, and I am very excited to see how those changes are actually going to improve how business do, because that is one of the issues that we need in downtown. Once we can fix the streets, once we can fix the road, then the small business are going to benefit from that.
Josh?
I think some of the infrastructure improvements that are going on right now they're exactly that, targeted to be improvements, targeted to make things better for all of us in the city. I think some of them that are, coming to a near completion, I would also include Harbor Park. I would include McManus Park in that. Those are wonderful spaces. The road construction, like anything else, is it's a bit of a challenge as the construction is happening. But your hope is that after it's done, after it's complete, things will become a lot smoother. I think part of my thoughts on the infrastructure improvements goes back to the communication, in that people shouldn't be surprised after the fact. They shouldn't see things, they shouldn't drive down a street and see things happening and say, how and why did that happen? I think part of the infrastructure plan would be, in my opinion, to reach out to the residents, make sure the residents have a say ahead of time, make sure that they're able to, and I know that they do have a say ahead of time, but make sure that they really have been reached in every effective way possible so that there are no surprises. We want to eliminate the surprises to people and get as many people's opinions and input ahead of time on these projects. And some of them do take multiple years. Some of the things going on now were put into place 2, 4, even 6 years ago in some instances. And I do think that the state collaboration with the city and state officials working together is good. Their communication together is good. I think we can always work to improve ourselves on behalf of the betterment of all the residents.
The next question, and we'll begin with Liliana, is have you taken time to review and understand the city's $550 million budget?
Let me say that, yes, I read it, and let me say that, yes, I'm still learning about a lot of the details that are listed there. There are definitely a lot of priorities, and there are definitely a lot of challenges, and it's definitely an ongoing plan. I want to say something that I want to quote the mayor when he said, "Progress is great, but commitment to fiscal discipline is firm." I think that's something that we have to be aware, is that we have a lot of concerns about the federal funding, so I think that is valid to be very cautious about how we move forward with our budget. At the same time, I'm excited to see that, like, the school department was fully funded. That is something that it definitely, I was excited. I think that schools, as we all know, they need all the money that we can get. So I was very excited about that. But it's definitely an ongoing work. I think that for all of us, that is a topic that we're going to get more used to it. And as we deep into other conversations, we're going to be understanding a little bit better the concepts of the budget.
Josh?
I think, yes, I have had time to review. As far as understand, understanding is a better way to word that, because I feel like I'm learning all along this campaign, and I also feel like I'm the type of person that will never stop learning. If you do, then you might as well close up shop. I think with the amount of people that the city does have, the budget that we have, we've got to find creative ways to work to see that the money gets put into places that are best fitting to everybody as a whole, and where the city's needs are the most. One of the places I would like to see money in the budget is in the transportation end of the budget, to better alleviate the problems that we've seen, like traffic and roads, and making things, if you're making your roads safer, if you're alleviating traffic, you're helping make the community safer. You're helping make people feel safer in walking kids to school, walking to work, taking the bike to work. So yes, I have reviewed the budget. I'm always learning, and frankly, I would never stop learning, because I'm by no means a budget expert.
Okay. Cardi?
Hey. Okay, so yes, I did review the budget, but I also watched the video on the budgeting committee, which was super helpful because it added some context from different representatives. So I guess my main takeaway is that it's really ambitious, and I'm really excited for it. I'm excited for the 3 schools that are now being built in Lynn, just to alleviate the overcrowding that we all know is happening within the schools, and also the diversity of educational experiences within them. Also the attention to pre-K education, because there are plenty of studies suggesting just the importance of it in overall success, which is what we want for our residents, is to be successful, to have the resources. I can say I benefited from going to Leo Head Start, and I think these are opportunities that we need to continue to work on and expanding on. And the fact that even though we have a constrained budget, it's still being prioritized is exceptional. Secondly, I would also say that one of the things that I was more worrisome about were the conversations around tentative federal cuts, and not necessarily having some sort of reserve for things that we could assume are going to happen, simply because it can throw back projects, or these investments can go to waste, and we need to be able to preemptively prepare for that. Another comment that was also striking to me was more so around the way in which the process is for allowing more personnel for the following year. I don't think it makes a lot of sense to say that people can request to the CFO that they want new personnel in their category. It should just be an open forum. I think unintentionally it just allows for other misuses.
Okay. What roles, we'll begin with Josh on this one. What role should the city council play in affordable housing?
I think the city council should play a role in affordable housing, working in conjunction with state delegation as well. I know recently city council has passed inclusionary zoning laws. I think one of the goals of the city council should be to attract developers whose values line up with Lynn residents. We want to attract developers that would look to build what Lynn residents need, what Lynn residents want. I think that city council should use all the tools within their possible grasp to help with affordable housing, because we are in a city of multiple levels of income. We're in a city where affordable housing is important because you want people to be able to afford to live in a place they want to live in, instead of living in a place that they have to live in or that they're forced to live in. And that ties back to pride and community. If you're living in a place that you want to live in, you're going to want to keep that place up. You're going to want to keep trash away. You're going to want to keep crime down. You're going to have a sense of pride and community. And that all ties back to being able to afford where you live, want to versus have to. I know part of that inclusionary zoning and part of the city council offers, part of the offers are tax breaks for different developers. But in my opinion, those tax breaks need to be looked at, tax breaks need to be given out only if there's going to be a net positive gain to the residents of, in this instance, Ward 5. If there's a net positive gain on those tax breaks for all the residents, then it makes sense. Otherwise, we need to reevaluate how we're giving out these developments.
Cardi?
So the city has been working really hard to include more affordable housing options and pass legislation, and that has been wonderful. As Josh mentioned, we passed inclusionary zoning, but we've also allowed for more development. For example, passing ADU units for zoning so that families can now rent out other parts of their houses for elderly folks, for young adults, and creating more opportunities is definitely what we should be doing, is inviting these new and innovative ways to create expansive and innovative housing throughout the city. We've also approved MBTA communities to amplify multi-use housing throughout the city. Also, we now have an affordable housing trust fund that has allowed the construction of more houses within the city. It started from 66 units in 2023 up to 273 units in 2024. And now in the pipeline, we have about 630 units to be developed under affordable housing. And I think what's really important to consider when we talk about affordable housing is that it's affordable under an area median income. When we talk about this within the context of Lynn, about 60% of folks within the city fall under this threshold. So we're talking about teachers, we're talking about police officers, people who are working every single day, but unfortunately, we're being compared with cities like Boston, Cambridge. We're not generating those same amounts. And we have to be able to work together in partnership, particularly around wraparound services within these communities as well. I would propose also having someone within the city that focuses on tenant rights and
I'm going to take it from there. There you go.
Liliana.
No, and again, thank you so much for all the information that you just shared, because it is so important. I think that housing is one of those issues that we could spend hours and hours and hours talking, especially for Ward 5, a ward that is so diverse, right? The needs of some of the communities are so different than the ones from the other side of the city. I think that we need more production, right? Any time that we talk about housing, we always say there's not enough housing. We definitely need more developments, but we want to make sure that those working and living in the city stay in those developments. It seems like there's a lot of new potential, but we see that the people that live here cannot afford those. So that is something that we're very important. We want to keep our teachers, we want to keep our families with children actually enjoying the city and enjoying these new spaces. I think that at the local level, we need to find strategies to actually support those landlords that are being great landlords, right? I think that is an issue that we hear that tenants are not getting what they need. So locally, what can we do? I agree with Cardelis that there's so many communities that are nearby that have similarities but are very different. So what can we do at a local level? And that is something that we can control. We cannot control a lot at the state level, but yes, we can control new strategies, new ways to support our residents, and definitely be more strategic about keeping our residents housed.
Okay, Cardi, the question is number 5. What are the 2 top concerns for Ward 5?
Yeah. Okay. So, as mentioned before, Ward 5 is very diverse. Whichever precinct you ask, the question is going to be completely varied. I've had folks in Pine Hill. Most of the concerns have been around the park, and then you go all the way down to downtown Lynn, and a lot of the concerns end up being around like the homeless population, the cleanliness, and other infrastructure. So I would say in aggregate, probably the 2 main concerns really are within infrastructure and public safety. In order to address both of those cohesively, we obviously need to work together with organizations that are already doing this work and amplifying their reach. It also comes down to having effective communication and conversations with folks so that investment projects into the community aren't being wasteful, that we are working on strategies that are going against these problems around generational poverty and all of these other gaps within the community. And the programs are there. We just need to continue working on them.
Okay. Liliana? Top 2 concerns for Ward 5.
I agree. I think that substance misuse and homelessness is definitely a huge factor that is affecting Ward 5, and I want to say that it's affecting the entire city. We cannot. I'm sorry.
We're doing the additional questions. Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry.
That was the only one.
So definitely what's happening in downtown is affecting not only Ward 5, but it's affecting the entire community. I feel that the homelessness population, the substance abuse population, we need to take care of that issue as it is supposed to. I think there's a lot of Band-Aids, but we're not really bringing the action and the support and the services and the needs the way these families and these individuals deserve it. We have agencies in the community that are able to work with them. So I feel that that is an issue. We need to communicate, we need to work with those agencies, we need to be more proactive on how can we resolve some of the issues that we have in the community, and we are not doing that. So in that, I want to add communication. I think communication has multiple layers, not only communicating with the residents, but communicating with those agencies that are already in the community doing the work. So I feel that that is a need. Collectively, we need to work together to take care of downtown, take care of the homeless, not only the homeless that we see every day, but believe me, there's a lot of families. There's a lot of families on Ward 5 that every single night they are sleeping in a different home. There are a lot of residents of Ward 5 that don't have an address, and that is affecting school attendance. That is affecting food insecurity. That is affecting a lot of the residents. So we need to say that out loud, that homelessness is not always the person that you see at the corner. Homelessness is affecting families, and we need to support all of them.
Josh, 2 top concerns for Ward 5?
2 top concerns are trash traffic as 1 and 1A, and the substance abuse problem as well is those are 2 to 3 things that have been brought up to me along the way. And part of the infrastructure is part of clearing up traffic, part of pride in community is part of clearing up trash. All those things collectively, once you get that, you end up building a safer place for everybody. Attacking those problems kind of cohesively would help. It would help get people more. We would want, you want people to want to be around. You want people to want to help keep things clean. That ties back to that first question of community meetings, right? The more often we're out in the community, the more we're able to collectively eliminate the trash problem. The more we're able to feel safe in the community. You want people to want to be out. Lynn is a vibrant city. Lynn is filled with, I've been going to more events in the past 6 months than I can tell you about. And everybody at every single one of the events, no matter where it is, no matter what it is in the city, everybody at those events are excited. They're happy to be there. And those are the things that you want to have be the top 2 concerns, are fun and activities and a great place to be. Because that's really, to me, what Lynn is. It's a fun, great place to be.
Okay. As you heard, we're going to go to the bonus question.
Complete surprise to everybody.
Yeah, there was so much for the
There's a surprise question, actually.
yeah, the secret communications here. Okay, so we'll begin with Liliana on number 6. Taking into account all that is within Ward 5, what is one area you would like to improve and how?
I think we keep hearing communication, and I feel that is a big one. We need to find ways to communicate, and communication counts with accountability, right? Like, I think that it's important to keep everybody informed about what's happening. Downtown, I think that is the other area that we definitely need to focus. If we take care of downtown, if we take care of those that are not being served properly in downtown, then small business are going to improve. And if small business do well, then the community does well. Housing expansion and new opportunities, again, that is a topic that it keeps coming. And I will love to have more opportunities for youth involvement. I think that, again, the youth is the future of our community. So how do we support youth to be more connected with Lynn in all capacities, from business to infrastructure to leadership? So I think that those are the areas that I would like to focus on.
Hey, Josh.
I agree with you a lot about the youth, and that is one of the things that I would like to see improve upon. We've already begun as a city to improve upon the parks and playgrounds in the city. Throughout the city, we've seen a lot of recent upgrades, we've seen a lot of new equipment come in, and I want to continue that because I feel like, as Liliana said, the youth of the city are the future, and you want to provide a space where the kids in the city have safe, welcoming places to play, they can grow, they can feel good about their city, they can take pride, they can be like myself, grow up here, stay here, thrive here in Lynn. And I think part of that starts with the kids having those places. And we've done great work thus far, but even specifically still in the ward, there are parks that are untouched at this point, and continuing to make those improvements as a parent to 2 kids in the city, as somebody who's got friends that have babies, teenagers, young kids, elementary school, every level of public school. I find that it's imperative to have those places for kids to enjoy, kids to stay out of trouble, kids to get creative, kids to feel safe and feel welcomed. And that is something that I would like to see continue to improve, and most specifically in Ward 5.
Cardi, the final word on this question?
Oh, geez, so much pressure. So I guess, yes, I completely agree with what both of you have said already. I guess one thing that I'll add a little bit more light to is just particularly around working with the downtown area and the small business owners and making sure that they're growing, primarily because I think that we need way more jobs in Lynn. There is absolutely a lack of opportunities within the community for people that have recently graduated college, from people who want to come back to the community, are still living with their parents, but don't necessarily have these opportunities. Some people are looking for jobs for a whole year. And there's an opportunity here where the city is growing, and we can begin to create these spaces of connectivity, but also, and at the same time, support our restaurants, our local infrastructure, and work around that piece, which is happening simultaneously around like all of these other infrastructural changes. So that's definitely something that I think we should emphasize is workforce creation within the ward.
Now, the next question will start with Josh. It'll be the final question.
Sure.
And city councilors serve on multiple subcommittees. Is there a particular one that you hope to serve on, and why?
So I would hope, one of the subcommittees I would hope to serve on is the Stadium Committee, because both Manning Field and Fraser Field are in the center of Ward 5. There are a lot of events that happen there, from not only all over the city, but all over the state. There are a multitude of events that happen right within those stadiums, and it is a great resource that the city has, but also right around that is a lot of residents have a lot of concerns for traffic in and out of those events, how those events take place. And I feel like it's important for those residents that are in Ward 5 to have a voice who's going to stand up for them and for their rights, while also standing up for the stadium and the events that do take place there, because they're both equally important. It's important if you live by the stadium that you can continue to live your daily life and not have certain concerns. And it's important that Lynn has those venues that can be utilized not only for high schools and semi-pro teams that are there, but to generate other money for the city, to bring in other events that we've had in the past in Lynn. And I feel like the Stadium Commission is a vital role in that for both the city as a whole and the immediate residents of the stadium area.
Patty?
All right. Okay, so I think for me, some of the main subcommittees that I was interested in were more around budget. I think with my financial background, that's something that a skill set that I can add to the committee itself. I think there's a lot in which we can do to improve how things are being reported, or different nuances that should be included within these discussions. I'm also really interested in the Economic and Workforce Development Committee. I've currently worked with a lot of businesses in the downtown area at a variety of levels, and with other stakeholders across like property managers, et cetera. So really holding in with those partnerships and making sure that opportunities are spread widely throughout the city. And also utilities, I think, for a large piece of just, there's a lot of environmental things happening within the world, and I think we have to update a lot of our infrastructure, so might as well do it in a way that also incorporates these environmental justice metrics and introduces new ideas as well.
Hey, Liliana.
Last but not least, right?
You're not going to get to serve on the committee.
So let me read them all. I want to say that again, based on the knowledge and the experience that I have working with so many communities, actually leading a couple of nonprofits, and being at the table at the state level, definitely the knowledge that I have gained definitely can bring an impact, the information into these committees. But the economic and the workforce development, that one was the first one that definitely caught my eye. I think that there is a lot to do. I would love to work with the rest of the city council on an issue that I think that is so important. At the same time, I think education and environmental affairs, that is something that I definitely am very passionate about. And housing and elderly affairs, again, housing has been an issue that we keep repeating, and definitely the elderly community is the one that is really affected by housing. So I think that those three are definitely a priority, but again, I feel that in any subcommittee, it will be a privilege to be working there and to serve with the rest of the city council.
Okay. So now we're going to go to the closing round. You're going to have 90 seconds for closing. I believe it's Cardi that begins.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So closing.
90 seconds, and if you go, you can let them go a little over too.
Yep.
We got time.
Sure, I mean, unless you'd like to consider making it 1 minute.
1 minute.
There's plenty of time left.
Oh, yeah.
So it was originally scheduled for 90 seconds. Is that okay with everybody?
2 minutes, 2 minutes, yeah.
2 minutes is a lot.
Say
2 minutes.
What?
90 seconds.
I mean, I don't think I need that much.
All right, well, go ahead. Well, if you go a little over, we'll let them know. Yeah,
You might want to put that red card down.
yeah.
Okay.
She can do it. Just wait.
I know. I mean, I've already gone over the buzzer twice. So thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight. Well, as you've already heard from all of us, our different perspective, I think we align on many issues, but likewise have some different approaches. I really do care deeply about this community and think that I have a good amount to offer around many of the developments that are happening within the city, and have solid networks and connections to offer amplified support throughout these different initiatives. I will say, obviously, elections are coming up in a couple of weeks. That's September 2nd. So it'll go down from these 4 candidates down to 2. So please make sure you vote. But also, if you are for whatever reason, know that you won't be able to make it there on September 2nd. There are mail-in ballots that you can do. We're not doing early voting, but you can submit that. The deadline is on Friday. So just make sure that you're aware, you're around, and also, just engage with the community. I'm pretty sure all 3 of us are going to be knocking around your doors these next couple of weeks. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I'm super happy to be available or meet with any and all of you whenever possible.
Leanna?
There you go. So I just want to say thank you. Thank you for allowing us to connect with you. Thank you for allowing us to listen to your concerns. And I will encourage you to go and vote. If you cannot vote, I am pretty sure that you know someone who can vote. Local elections are so important because they are affecting you directly. Local elections are the ones that are affecting the budget for your city, the schools that you send your kids, and the housing that you live in. So just think about that. Think about the power that you have. So think about who's here at the table, right? Think about how much you already know about us, and you can learn even more about us just going into our websites. Think about what you need, right? This is not about friendships or people that we know from when we were little. This is about your needs, your values, and what is important to you. So I will say, go and vote. And I will encourage a lot of the young people who hasn't voted or hasn't registered. We know for many of the residents in Lynn, maybe your kids are the first ones voting in your family. We know that many of us come from countries where voting is not seen as fair or important, but it's so important. Remember, that is your right. So I'm going to ask you for your trust. I'm going to ask you to allow me to be your voice. I'm going to ask you to allow me to advocate for you and to fight your fight. And thank you for that.
Josh?
Thank you. One of the things we had talked about before tonight had started was the city council and all the city officials in Lynn specifically, above many other cities, it's a special group of people. It's a group of people that care deeply about the residents, and I would be very proud to be part of that group of people. But in closing, I do want to take an opportunity to say thank you to the other candidates here tonight. You both are great people, and I appreciate you. We're all working hard to show you the reasons that one of us feels that they would be the best person to move Ward 5 forward into the future. I feel that the residents of Ward 5 do have a very important job, as both Cardellis and Liliana have mentioned, on September 2nd and then again on November 4th. Local elections do have a powerful impact on your day-to-day lives. Please don't forget that. It's very important that you do take the time to vote for who will be the most effective leader for you. I am a person who's not afraid to do what's right as opposed to just doing what's easy. I'll always lead with honor, integrity, and honesty. And if I don't know the answer to a question, I'm never afraid to say, I don't know. But I am going to tell you, I'll know where to go. I'll know who to ask, because there are people that have come before me, and I have a relationship with those people. I know that I can count on those people to help guide me. In the beginning, I won't have all the answers. I would never pretend to do so. My hope is that you will feel that I am the best person for this, and I would greatly appreciate your vote and the opportunity to represent you and your families this year and in the coming years as the Ward 5 Councilor. Thank you very much. And Joe, thank you.
I want to thank the candidates, Liliana, Josh, and Cardi, for attending this evening. You all did very well for your first forum, and you all were very impressive candidates. You should be proud of yourselves for the answers you gave, the time you took to prepare to answer the questions, and the knowledge you have of the city and the community. So it's going to be a tough choice, difficult choice for the people in Ward 5, but I think Ward 5 will be represented very well. So, and with that, that's it, and we'll see you in, I guess, October for some forums for the final election. Okay.
All right, thank you.